Rolfricker here for a quick news flash. We've learned some news about the upcoming Pandemic game. It turns out that a Reddit user was on the Z-Man website and found a listing for the newest Pandemic Legacy, not Season 3, but Season 0. It had a box image, but the listing has since been taken down.
Since the news has come out, Z-Man Games has gone ahead and released an official teaser trailer for the game. Doesn't show off any of the components or possible new gameplay details. It's just a flashy little intro along with officially confirming the box art and the title, again, as Pandemic Legacy Season 0, which will apparently be a prequel to the existing Seasons 1 and 2. However, it will still be the final chapter, at least as far as they've said to us as of now, in the Pandemic Legacy line. Supposedly, we're going to get more information about this later on in July, but right now we can only speculate what might be involved here. We had seen some of this teaser text at a convention a little while ago, I believe, where they said every ending has a beginning, which I guess was kind of their clue that this is going to be a prequel and it's going to be Season 0 instead of Season 3. But I do wonder what it being a prequel is going to bring to the Pandemic Legacy line.
We can make guesses about some of the artwork on the cover of the box and the trailer. The clock itself showing ticking down is reminiscent of the Doomsday Clock, which is an important aspect of the Cold War. And the box art itself also has very Cold War elements on there. It seems that espionage or at least political issues are going to be a bit more important. It doesn't have scientists on there or survivors. It looks more like agents of some sort. Now, a lot of these guesses are also coming from story beats from the previous games, in which, we don't want to say, we can't say too much there because it's been a while, but we don't want to spoil those games just yet. It's an interesting idea to say the least. I'm curious if it's going to have a significant mechanic change from it. I mean, Pandemic Season 2 was sort of a flip where you were adding cubes instead of taking them away. I'm wondering what they're going to do here to make it stand out from just Pandemic.
Yeah, well, it's not the first time that we've seen a Pandemic game set in the past, right? There's Pandemic Iberia, which was in the 1800s, or I guess technically Pandemic Rise of Cthulhu. Usually those are kind of in the 1920s era, so I think that one probably was as well. So yeah, I wonder if they're going to go as far in that direction in terms of the types of technology that you'll be working with in the game. Will it be a lot more difficult to find the cures for these things, or maybe you'll have to take a completely different approach because obviously medicine has evolved a lot the way it works today versus 100 years ago or whenever this may take place.
I actually saw a really funny idea that if you know regular Pandemic, there are 4 diseases and they won't all exist. So this is going to be all 4 diseases sort of sprouting out, the regular normal diseases.
Right. It could be literally the start of the pandemics in our world. There's a lot of interesting things they could do with it, and we'll also have to see how they tie it in to the other games and why they decided to make this a prequel and how much of a connection there's going to be, if it's going to be directly into it, or I think part of it might also be simply that it's probably a lot easier for them to do a prequel, since with these legacy games that are about the world ending, there's a lot of things that could happen depending on how your group does it. And this way, if you go to a prequel, it's not as messy. You don't have to deal with what players may or may not have encountered in Season 2 and how things might have ended for them. Your Season 2 technically can still be considered canon now before you go back to Season 0 to see how things began.
I do have some interesting ideas, partially because I think they'd be cool story beats to follow, but of course, like I said, this is all gleaming mostly from Season 1, I think, partially because if this is a full prequel, it's going to be at the end of Season 1. I do have this weird idea that we're going to find out that this is Season 3. It's sort of like a Planet of the Apes kind of deal, and there's going to be a Season 3 sticker you put on top of the box.
Oh man,
but
it could be.
That's just like a crazy, M. Night Shyamalan twist kind of deal.
Put your tinfoil hats on. Maybe it's 2 seasons in 1. Who knows? Well, like I said, I think they're going to unveil some more details soon. We'll find out, hopefully, a little bit more. I don't know how much they're going to show because, of course, these are legacy games, so they always leave a little bit of stuff hidden from us.
My guess was, judging by the listing found on the site, that they were actually prepping to have this launch during Gen Con Online. I don't know whether literally this started then and we would have had information, all the information given to us, as much as we're allowed to get, instead of just the teaser trailer. They would have dropped the teaser trailer maybe each day, something more. So yeah. I think this was just a little bit of a leak of information, because I know they said they were holding back on a lot of stuff because we're in a pandemic right now. But we did hear about a new pandemic game. What was it? Pandemic North America, was it called?
The Hot Zone series.
The Hot Zone series. So my guess is we were already pretty close to them releasing this information. It's just maybe just a tad earlier than they expected.
Yeah, well, whether or not they had planned to unveil much more than just the trailer at Gen Con, I imagine they're going to have to do it now in order to follow up on this and, satiate the eager fans that are awaiting this game. We will be there to find out exactly what happens, and let us know in the comments, what do you think Season 0 is going to bring? What would you like to see them try to do? And what do you think they could do with this prequel angle that will separate this from the other seasons? Talk to us down there. Till next time, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Will.
And this is Roll for Crit.
Catch the latest from Roll for Crit by liking and subscribing, and don't forget to support us on Patreon.
Don't get analysis paralysis. Just click those buttons. Help us out.